Well, now the race for the top spot in the Democratic Alliance is heating up. The party will host its two-day elective conference this weekend. Former Joburg Mayor Mpho Phalatse is going up against incumbent John Steenhuisen, and she believes she has what it takes to grow the party and steer through next year's elections. Phalatse wants to change the perception that the party is a white enclave, and eNCA's Aviwe Mtila sat down with the contender.
The battle for control of South Africa's official opposition political party heats up as on Sunday, more than 2,000 delegates will decide who leads the Democratic Alliance into next year's elections. One of the contenders for party leader is the former mayor of Johannesburg, Dr Mpho Phalatse, and she joins us now. Dr. Phalatse, thank you for joining us at eNCA. But tell us, why do you want to lead the DA and what do you want to change within the Democratic Alliance?
One of the biggest things that the DA needs right now is growth. We have a trusted brand of good governance, and there's no dispute as to the fact that where we govern well. I've been mayor in the city of Johannesburg. Before I was mayor, I served as an MMC. Before I joined politics, I worked in public service, so I also have extensive public sector experience. I believe that I possess the experience that's required to take the Democratic Alliance into the next era, having led a 9-party coalition in the city of Johannesburg, very complex coalition in very turbulent times, and at a time when the city was most broken. I believe that South Africa needs that kind of leadership that's got experience working with difficult coalitions. I believe that our governments have been collapsing because we simply didn't have enough numbers. As a result, we had to put together too many small parties to form the 50% plus one that we require to govern effectively. And I believe that I can bring in the numbers that we need to have bigger numbers. Even though we may end up in a coalition, still it must be a smaller, manageable coalition of parties that are committed to the people on the ground and that can really govern and govern well.
And when you talk of numbers, do you think that you have enough support within the party, the delegates, to take over John Steenhuisen? And do you believe you can do better than John Steenhuisen?
John Steenhuisen's term is coming to an end. That's why we've got Congress. That means there is a vacancy now in the federal leader position, and anybody in the party can put their hand up. Of course, I think I can do the job, and that's why I've put my hand up. I've looked at my qualifications and my experience, both outside politics and in politics. I've looked at where we are in terms of the country's current state of affairs. We're looking at a situation where for the first time in 2024, we're expecting the ANC to drop below 40%. This presents a real opportunity for an alternative, and I believe I can position the Democratic Alliance to be that credible alternative. There's no dispute, as I've said, as to our brand of good governance. However, there's this trust deficit between us and the electorate, and until that gap is closed, unfortunately, we will keep on governing in very fragile coalitions, as you have seen, particularly outside of the Western Cape, and that's something that needs to change.